Good morning, another beautiful day in sunny Queensland. I'm just going to run you through the new Baumr-AG brush cutter that I bought with some regret at this point. Well, this is it. It looks quite nice. It's a little bit flimsy. The plastic covers are sort of cheap and plasticky. The main issue though, when I bought it, the manual, you can download the manual. There's a QR code on the side there and in the packaging. The manual seems to bear absolutely no relation to the machine that I actually got.
As you can see, this bears absolutely no relationship to what's actually on the machine, which is this.
After putting it together, I followed all of the instructions. As you've already seen, this ignition switch panel here bears no resemblance to what's in the manual, but I flicked that to the on position there, as you can see, primed the fuel. There's a button hidden up under there. Set the choke to cold, and then tried to start it, and absolutely nothing. So the manual says that you'll feel some pressure when you press the primer bulb, and nothing. 5 or so presses later. I don't know why I'm looking so happy about this. 5 or so presses later and nothing. So tried it, and still no pressure. So I kept pressing, still no pressure, trying it every 4 or 3 or 5 presses in between to see if I could get the thing to start. No. Absolutely nothing. So I flicked the choke to the on position to see if it was choked, flooded, whatever. Tried again several times, absolutely nothing. Pressed the bulb again a couple of times, still no pressure. Tried to start again, absolutely nothing. Checked the ignition switch to see if that had been wired incorrectly, that the on position was actually the off position. Absolutely nothing. So it didn't even fire once. So okay, that was disappointing. Then the next thing that was disappointing was that I sent a message to Edison's in Australia, who seem to be the people who sell these devices, well they are, and asked them what the go was. Had this happened before? Was there any reason why an assembled machine would not start right from the beginning? I said that I'd read through the manual, and what I hadn't found it particularly helpful. I thought that I'd assembled the machine correctly. I've assembled a few of these in the past. And they didn't reply. There was no real response. They just sent me back a copy of the manual, which was a different manual to the one that you can get if you download from the QR code on the machine, but similarly had very little relation to the machine I actually got. So finally I had a look, a more detailed look. I started trying to pull the machine apart. That's kind of difficult. I won't bore you with that. And then realised that the problem was that the fuel leads were not connected. The fuel leads were not connected. So that's why there was no pressure when I was pressing the pump. The next question, of course, was which of the 2 leads attaches to which point on the carburetor. Nothing in any of the manuals to indicate that, and it's difficult to get to because you can't actually get that silly plasticky cover off. And so it's very difficult to get to those very flimsy looking fuel lines without risk of damaging them. I did follow the instructions in the manual to remove the cover for the air filter, hoping that that would make it easier to get the cover off. It didn't, but I'm glad that I did, because the air filter looked as if it had simply been stuffed in there at random. So then I did manage to reconnect the fuel lines with a pair of long nose pliers, and pump through the priming pump, and I did start to feel some pressure. So I'm going to give it a go now to try to start, having followed all of the instructions, again, having checked it all over for spark, checked the air filter obviously, it's got clean fuel in it, and now the fuel lines are connected. I'm moderately hopeful that this will work. Let's see how we go. And there, as you can see, it's going. It's running okay. I've turned the choke down to the run location, pressing the lock to be able to use the throttle. It appears to be running. quite smoothly at this point. Well, okay. I've been running this thing now for about 15 minutes, and it is an okay machine. It is well balanced. It's easy to use. Now that we've got the fuel line sorted out, it does seem to start easily. The strap came apart after just a couple of minutes of snipping, so I'd replace the strap that's on there with something that will actually hold up. And excuse me. The only other thing is that I'm going to turn the camera around now. This throttle lock here is almost impossible to manage with that. It's impossible virtually to keep the throttle lock in and control the throttle. I don't know what kind of deformed hands they think that we've got, but I'm just going to pop a bit of Gorilla Tape around the throttle lock so that the throttle lock is permanently open. And then you'll be able to just hold the grip and pull the trigger rather than trying to, like twist your hand around in some weirdo way. So, but if you can overlook all those things, then it's a good machine. I'm still disappointed in Edison's response to my concerns, and but you certainly need to check this thing carefully when you get it. It's alarming that you could send something that's a couple of $100 through the post without checking something as obvious that the fuel lines are actually connected, or at least alerting people to the possibility that they may have come loose during transport, although I'm not quite sure how that could be. Anyway, look, it's an okay machine, and for the price, probably worth a try. Cheers.